All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video that might turn into a bit of a rant, man, going into the hypocrisy of all of these heathen nations that are trying to use the so-called black race, as they want to call it, but really we're the children of Israel, right? The real one. We're the real children of Israel, man. And these people are trying to scapegoat us for all the problems in the whole world, man. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? They're trying to blame us for the reason why all of these things that are going on in the earth are happening. They're mad that they can't just be as racist as they want to be anymore without being judged for it, right? But then they trying to make out like they're some kind of victim of racism in this world. That's what they're actually trying to do now, right? They complain about, they say that we are complaining about everything when it's actually them that do that. They say that we're not held accountable for anything that we do, but at the same time they say that we're committing most of the crimes and that we're in prison the most. But how can you not be getting held accountable when you're in prison? Then they say that, oh, black people are killing black people the most, but then white police officers are killing other white people the most when it comes to crimes like that. It's not actually, but then that would mean that white people are committing crimes for them to be getting shot. Otherwise, why would the police, according to what these people want to say, are police just then shooting what so-called white people for no reason? Because then if they can accept that police officers are shooting so-called white people for no reason, why was they never able to accept that there's been several times where that happens to so-called black people? And then most of these people claim that they're Christian, but you'll notice that all these Edomites that are claiming to be Christian and complaining about all the things going on with the so-called black people that they complain about, none of them are asking, right? None of them, zero of them are asking for the laws of Yahweh to be what governs the earth. They're not asking for that, right? No, nowhere you see any people say, you know what, we need a change on this earth. We need to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, because they know they wouldn't be able to live in a society like that. But they'll claim to be Christian. They'll say they're Christian, while at the same time saying that they say the N-word and all of this. But then these same Christians, if they start hearing the Hebrew Israelite doctrine, will try and say there's neither Jew nor Greek and all that. Because they don't really believe any of these things that they say when it comes to Christianity. They just want you to believe it. That's what we're finding out. And it's starting to look to me in this world, right, that a lot of these Christians, Edomites, right, these so-called Christian Edomites are trying to reverse, the mentality that the Hebrew Israelites have and apply it to themselves. They're trying to secretly reverse what we believe and apply it to themselves, but that's not going to work, because they've been saying for the longest time all this John 3:16, God loves the whole world stuff. But then now they're trying to switch it up and be like, oh, now we need our own thing. It's not going to work. But it's just the hypocrisy, to me, is the most annoying thing, because these people try and make out like they're righteous, but they're not, though. That's the most annoying thing. They pretend to be righteous, but they're absolutely wicked demons, man. And it's the hypocrisy is disgusting. But let's read this. Psalm chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? And also, what is the point of them even claiming to be Christian? Right? What's the point of you Edomites even claiming to be Christian when you don't believe that stuff? You don't really believe in it, because if it come, all these Edomite women as well that claim to be Christian, they don't really be on that modest to power stuff. They ain't prepared to have a head covering. They ain't prepared to cover their hair, because they'll say, oh, that's some kind of Muslim thing. That's some Islam thing. They ain't prepared to cover their hair. When was the last time you ever seen an Edomite woman cover their hair over. They don't do that. But you'll see Jake women, Israelite women, you'll see Eve cover her hair, even if it's with a stupid bonnet, she's still covering it. Now, fair enough, she's covering it because her hair has been taken away by the curses, but that just further proves that we're the children of Israel. And in the kingdom of heaven, man, I gotta say this point here, man. The Israelite woman is gonna get revenge on all of you other nation of women, you know. And that's what all you Israelite women that you're trying to put hell on the so-called black man right now on this earth. Instead of trying to remember everything that you can think wrong of with us that we do, you should be thinking about one of your main adversaries on this earth, which is definitely the Edomite woman. She's been putting y'all through hell on this earth, man. She's been able to fake nice it up a bit more to be trying to make you all look bad. She's been able to do that. I've been able to fake nice and get what you expect that you should get on this earth. But then because you've got such a disgusting attitude your own selves, people look at them like they're way more righteous when in the kingdom of heaven they're not gonna be. And it's actually true, some of the things that they say about how the Israelite woman isn't on point right now. It's actually true. Because y'all have been extremely hateful to the men of your own nation, and you expect us to protect you when things go wrong. But why would we? When you hate us? Out of all the people on the earth, you might hate us at least like number 2. The Edomite man might hate us, must probably hate us the most. But then second is the Israelite woman. But it's a twist up between the two. It's either the Israelite woman that hates us the most, and then second is the Edomite man, or the Edomite man that hates us the most, and then the Israelite woman. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here and say that you're number 2 in hating us, because he's helped turn you against us. But then some of you Israelite women will say, "Oh, we've been manipulated by them," but then you're still doing it. If you know that you've been manipulated, now you should be able to stop the manipulation. You should be able to reverse what they've tried to do to you if you're aware of it. But don't say you're aware of it and then not do nothing about it. Right? Verse 17. Seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind it. They love saying they're Christian, these Edomites. Oh, we're Christian. I'm a Christian. But then, okay, so do you want the laws of God to be established on the earth? Why ain't you got a problem with the LG3T thing that they are pushing out then? Why aren't you grieved by that? Why aren't you grieved by the law of usury not being established the way it is according to the Bible? Why are you not angered by how people are even more simpler things eating pork? Why aren't you grieved by how men don't want to have beards on their face? Are you against women not wearing modest apparel? What do you think the law on adultery should be? Are you an adultery yourself? Oh, it starts getting sticky once you start talking about that, doesn't it? Do you believe that women should be able to get half of a man's resources in a divorce? Or do you think that she should leave with nothing like it says in the scriptures? Then it starts getting sticky, right? Do you believe that women should be like Proverbs 31, first chapter? Or do you think that women should be able to just do whatever they want to do and that they should just be able to expect a man to just pay all of their bills, every single bill that they ever want, and shut his mouth? Not be able to have multiple wives so that the woman can use the fact that men like sleeping with women against him. And then if he sleeps with another woman, say, "Oh, he cheated on me," when he never cheated, nothing. He got that next woman fair and square. He didn't do no L1, L2, L3, spin the analog stick round, left, right, double tap the both back analogs, and then he put a cheat code in. No, he went up to that woman and got that other woman the same as he got you. There wasn't no cheating involved. He's allowed to do that. But this world and all these women that claim they're Christians and all these men that claim they're Christians, that's just like a word that they say, right? Edomites calling themselves Christian is no different than a small hat claiming somebody's anti that and anti this when they want to get away with something. Because when it comes to talking to a Hebrew Israelite, all these people that claim to be Christian, all of a sudden they don't know what's in the Bible. They can pretend to know what's in the Bible when they're talking to a Muslim, but they can't pretend to know what's in the Bible when they're talking to us, though. They can't do it with us. As well, chop that all down to size. Verse 18, when thou sawest the thief, then thou consented with him. This on this Piers Morgan show, you had this Edomite woman on there, you had this fresh and fit Sudanese warrior on there running his mouth, right? And I don't believe he's no Israelite, by the way, man, right? But you had, and he's an agent in my opinion too, man. I don't know what's up with this guy. How the hell you go from talking about arguing with 304s to now he's some, you know what I mean, some right wingy kind, like he's just got some waste, man. That hates Israelites, by the way. And when he talks, he talks like he thinks he's an Edomite. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, there's been Edomites that have literally told him, we don't trust you either. On all these like different chat rooms and stuff, they've told him, we don't like you either. And they're calling him the N-word and they're telling him, we don't like you. Like, we don't trust you either. Why are you trying to get in on this with us? Mate, we don't trust you either. We think you're the same N-word that we call them. We just think you're a bit less. And that's what this guy don't understand. Shouldn't he be trying to be some Sudanese activist, man? To try and get, like, he's quick to talk about all the crimes, what we do and all this. Mate, what's up with the Sudanese? I don't know nothing about what they're doing in this grand scheme of things, apart from being lanky as hell. Having the longest calf distance that you can ever see in your life, mate. Some long calf muscle, man. But he's quick to talk about this. All these nations are quick to talk about us. But then when they're throwing a party, they're listening to rap music. You understand? They'll complain about rap music, then throw a party. This guy does it. This fresh and fit cat. They'll complain about rap music, but then when they throw a party, they're listening to rap music. Why are you listening to it then? Why are you even listening to that if you're so against it and against its effect on humanity? Stop listening to it, man. Don't even listen to none of it. Don't even listen to none, man. Don't even invite no so-called black people on your show. Don't invite no so-called black women on there. Don't invite no so-called black men on there. Don't invite no so-called black celebrities on there. But you do that though. So if with all these things, why even bringing them on there then? If everyone's all fatigue, black fatigue. Like, you people are a joke. And you actually try and make out as though if so-called black people were not on the earth no more, there would be no crime. You think it's so-called black people that are trying to that are making devices to put in people's heads. You think it's so-called black people that are making a cashless society to track every penny that you ever gonna spend in your life. Is that us doing that? Is that so-called black people doing that? Is that Native American Indians doing that? Is that Mexicans doing that? Or is it so-called white people doing it? Is it so-called white people that have changed and are ever changing the financial system to destroy people being able to own things? Is it so-called black people that made this slogan, you'll own nothing and be happy? Or is it so-called white people that made that? Was it so-called black people that locked down the whole world, right? And said you have to wear masks, right? Take this thing up your nose, right? Take this thing in your arm. Or was it so-called white people that said that? But nobody wants to acknowledge those things. They want to talk about some black person that stole something from Quickie Mart or something. Oh, he stole from Target. Oh man, he's ridiculous. Okay, what about the white people that steal from Target? What about that? You want to complain? They want to complain about so-called black people calling white people crackers, right? But then when it comes to so-called white people calling 5-year-olds the N-word, right? Oh, they got their freedom of right speech. They got their freedom of speech. Okay, well then so have the other people that call white people crackers got their freedom of speech. And you Edomites are not about freedom of speech. Because if I read Revelation 13 and 16, I can't even say the mark of the beast. We can't even talk properly. We have to talk in code. We can't call the small hats what we really want to call them. So how are we in a free speech world? No, we're not. No, we're not, mate. And then people trying to say, oh, black people have got their own buzzword and are protected, and so-called Jews have got their own. But racism, right, is not a word that's again that means that you're saying things to only black people. That's BS. Because when it's a white person and a Chinese man getting into something, and the Chinese man or the normally the white man is saying something to the Chinese man, they're called racist if they say something racial against them. So don't try and make out like the word racism is some key buzzword that protects us and nobody else. That's bullshit. And all of these talking points that all these people say, they work when they're not talking to an Israelite of the hopeful elect, because we see through all that BS. And the moment any of these people want to try, if they start even trying to think and dare to try and talk about being a Christian, it's over with, because we know the Bible, man. And when you see all of these people, this is just my opinion now, but when you see all of these people that be on all these Piers Morgan and they're saying this and they're saying that, right? You seen all these bug out people that they have come on there. It's my opinion that that's practice, right? For the day when they try to finally build up the courage to try and bring a Hebrew Israelite on one of these things, man. When they try and bring a Hebrew Israelite on there and start calling them racist, and that the Israelite, and they'll be like, oh, how would we handle it though? If the Israelite just says straight up, I'm not racist. I don't care that I'm racist. I mean, how would we try and lock them in to saying something so it can be like, see, these people are evil and they need to be stopped. Like, let's not make no mistakes about it. All these people are really in it together when they're coming and bringing them on these shows. Because on this particular episode that I'm talking about, where you had Piers Morgan, you had this Myron guy, you had this Israelite guy in there, this Israelite man on there, by the way. I remember a while back seeing him talking with Hebrew Israelites on the street corner. He was asking them questions, they was asking him questions, right? So he knows that he's an Israelite. He knows that we are the Israelites, but he never mentioned it on there. He never mentioned that once, but he knows it though, because I saw him all the way back then, and I didn't know who he was. It wasn't until recently now that I've started seeing him on the TV. He was on the talking with the Israelites from GMS Atlanta, right? I remember that. I remember seeing his face, and I've only started seeing him on the TV now. So he knows that, but he don't use that to defend and say anything about what he's saying, because he ain't really rocking with it. Verse 19, now givest thy mouth to evil and thy tongue frameth deceit. And you people are being real deceitful when you're trying to make out as though so-called black people are the most violent thing on the earth. We've never did book breaking on nobody. You have. We've never wore white hoodies and started lynching y'all. You've done it though. You've been cannibals towards our people. Lynched us, castrated us, lied about saying that we've committed crimes so that you can kill us and destroy our neighborhoods. You've did that. And then you want to talk about how, oh, this is just that woman saying that to a 5-year-old is just a greater thing of what happens when people are not able to do this and not able to do that. Okay, then. But then are you going to say that with the Carmelo Anthony thing, that so-called black people might be annoyed and aggravated, that so-called white people always want to try and get in their vicinity and tell them what to do and try and be violent with them? But you're not going to say that about that, are you? You're not going to say that, oh, maybe these so-called black people, that all the crime that they're committing now is them being angered by how their ancestors built up this society, right? But they don't have a portion in this world, and that it's harder for them to get things than it is for anybody else. You're not going to admit that. You're going to try and make it like, nah, they love them. They've treated them nice. They gave them welfare. Mate, welfare gets given to everyone. Welfare is a thing that gets given to everyone. Benefits gets given to everyone. And if we was to really do research on these whole benefit things, you'd see that it's the Edomites scamming it more than anyone else, because they made the laws. They know how to run through them, man. But this world is not honest. And it's always tried to scapegoat the so-called Judah, the main one, Judah, man, the African American. He's tried to scapegoat them and use them as a stepping stone to build it themselves. And I'm gonna get a scripture on why I say that. This world has always tried to just step over the tribe of Judah, man, and be like, man, you lay your body as the ground that I may go over. And I'm gonna get a scripture on that right now. It's just gonna take a while because that's in the scriptures, man. These people try and just think they can bow our heads down to the ground, right, and step all over us and get their kingdom. Nah, you don't get to do that to us, man. Nah, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work that way, man. It is not gonna work that way. You people are gonna have to pay for all the evil that you've did. Okay, Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 21. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. And that's what you're seeing when you're seeing all these African Americans who you call that, but they're really the Israelites. They're drunk, but not with wine. They don't know what they're doing. They're trapped in a country, right, that don't want them to be there. But then at the same time, if all of them decided to leave, they'd really have a problem with that. Because then they wouldn't be able to scapegoat them no more. They wouldn't be able to build wealth off these people no more. And as much as they claim, oh, they ain't doing this and they ain't doing that, mate, yeah, right. That's just not true, is it? That's just not true. But all the people that say all these talking points, they switch up. Because when you point out what so-called white people do, now they want to say, oh, that's not so-called white people. That's the small hats. But then when it came to calling a little 5-year-old boy the N-word, they're trying to make it like that boy was one of our people, but he actually wasn't, though, to my knowledge. And then they'll try and relate what a 5-year-old boy with autism going into a woman's bag and stealing something out of his bag is somehow related to what adults do, as if 5-year-old children don't steal things, as if some 5-year-old children don't steal things, man. You know what I mean? They go into a store, they see a lollipop, they might pick it up and eat it, man. As if children even younger don't do that. So then should you call a little 2-year-old an N-word then if they're stealing something? And what's the word that you use if it's a Chinese baby? What's the word you use if it's an Indian baby? Because all this world has ever did is try and magnify what the children of Israel do and minimalize everyone else. When I watch a hell of a lot of these body cam arrest videos, man. I watch loads. I watch Law and Crime Network, right? And the most vicious crimes that I see on there are done by so-called white people. So don't play. Don't even dare try and come and talk to me with none of that. But then somehow it's all these stats, this, stats, that, and all that. It's ridiculous and it's not true. The way how they try and make out like we're the most ones committing crime, it's just not true. Other people commit crime too, but they just don't end up in jail for it like we do. Because the jail system was made to put us in there. It was made to put us in there, man. But you people do your thing, man. Because I want to say this as well. Right, I was thinking about this yesterday and I wrote it down or I made a video and just said the words so I could remember what it is that I was thinking, man. And this is the point. Jacob's trouble, right? He's gonna justify he's gonna justify Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. Jacob's trouble is going to earn Esau Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18, and that's gonna be the cause of why we're not gonna care. Because all the things that these people are getting ready to do to us, right? And getting ready to not even not even look into any detail of what happens when we do something. It's gonna start getting to where so-called white people are gonna bait Jake into touching them so that they can shoot them and say, oh, it was self-defense, as if, which is things that they've done before, but they're gonna try and do that, and then they're gonna be like, well, look at this case, look at that case. No, crimes are supposed to be judged on a case-by-case basis. You can't be like, oh, well, these two teenagers got into a fight, and this one pulled out a weapon and defended himself and unalived this other guy that attacked him first, by the way. So So then that means that when this 5-year-old woman gets called an N-word by this woman, yes, she does deserve to be making $500,000. It's all you people that donated money to that woman are stupid idiots. And I've heard, I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that they're trying to make a cryptocurrency based off it. But that's the same thing that they did with that woman that said Hawk Tour, and I mentioned that a couple of days ago. That they're basically trying to make this woman be a Hawk Tour woman. But she never said Hawk Tour. She said the N-word and then doubled down. N-word, N-word, N-word. As if when they say that word to us, we're supposed to just start melting. Oh man, how did you know the secret N-word of Ascalon? Like, mate, we know the word that hurts you, being an Edomite. We know your word. And the N-word that you try and call us, that's not real. We're not that. That's a word that you tried to apply to us, right? But we're really the children of Israel, and you don't want to tell that. You want to call us black. That's not true. You tried to call us colored. That's not true. You called us Negro. That's not true. But you don't speak about what color our skin is for real. You don't say our skin's brown. Everything about you people is just lies. It's all lies. But then at the same time, you'll claim you're high IQ and we're low IQ. That's your claim. But the IQ thing's been around since like 1904. So what was people in 1903? What was so-called black people in 1903? Oh, we were monkeys or something, yeah? In the 19th century, I've saw the pamphlets, man, and the leaflets. Y'all was trying to call us monkeys and that, saying, "Oh, we're not people that came through on Noah's Ark. We're animals that was able to mimic human sounds." And that the reason why we can talk isn't because we could talk; it's because we was animals that was able to mimic human sound. These are some of the things that you've said back then. So was that true back then when you used to say it? No, it wasn't. So then is it true now when you're saying that we're low IQ? No. Has anything that you've ever said about us been true? No, it hasn't, man. It hasn't. Because anything that you can say about us, if we look at your nation, we'll see it done in a bigger way. Or we're violent and we steal. Okay, you stole America. You stole America. And you got the nerve to be telling people to get out of this country when the original inhabitants of the country is still here and you won't listen to them telling you to get out. You won't listen if they tell you to get out, man. So what are you talking about? And like I said before, Jacob's trouble is going to earn you Edomites everything that's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. And it's going to earn you Obadiah 1 and 18, man. It's going to earn you that. You're going to earn it. And it's going to earn all you other heathen nations the ass whooping that you're going to get to. So say everything you want to say now. Try and scapegoat us for all the problems in the world. Say that we're this, say that we're that. Make out like we're the only ones that ever do anything wrong. Say whatever you want to say. But in countries where there ain't no Israelites really, there's crime there. Don't try and make out like there isn't. There's crime there, man. In neighborhoods where there ain't no Israelites, there's violent crimes that take place there. Extremely violent ones. So don't try and make out like we're the only ones doing anything wrong. Don't even dare. Because you're all doing wrong things too. You steal yourself. Some of you people that want to try and scapegoat us right now, you stole things within the last 3 months. You've went into stores and stolen way more expensive items than what you complain about so-called black people stealing, man. I saw a video where some Asian woman, right, some Chinese-looking woman, she stole a $5,000 bag, man, a $5,000 purse. She just stole it and put it in her bag. So but that same woman would be the kind of woman that would be talking about what we do. Be the same one, because this world has been able to scapegoat us and try to have the eyes looking on us so that when they commit a crime, they can try and be like, well, I can get away with it because their eyes are going to be on these so-called black people. So they ain't going to see what I'm doing wrong. All these nations have did that, but let's go to this. So Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 22. Thus saith Yahweh, thus saith thy Lord Yahweh, and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt drink no more again. So all you people that are thinking in your mind that we're gonna go back into some kind of Atlantic slave trade kind of living. That's not gonna happen. That's what's gonna be happening to you. That's gonna be happening to people like you, man, not us. We've been through our punishment, and we've only got left Jacob's trouble when all of these heathen nations, especially Esau, are going to be trying to take us off the earth through the power of the sword, through the power of violence, right? But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And that's how this world's trying to treat us. If we ain't working for free, building up their society, then we're lazy, we're this, we're that, we're thugs, we're criminals, we're mental health. But when we just want to have our own thing, then we're racist. We're racist for wanting to have our own thing, right? But then every single time these people get angry with us, they tell us to go back to Africa. But then if we had Africa built up, like how China has got China built up, you people would get mad. And you'd start trying to say, oh, we can't be allowing them to be able to build their country up, because then they're gonna you'll be saying all the same things about what you're saying about China right now. The Chinese people are really pretty much minding their own business. They make your bags, you give them a price that you want to make it, they make your bags. Then you send them off to Italy, put a little 1, 2 more extra change on there, and then say, oh, it's made in Italy. You don't even give them the credit. You do all that. They just mind their business. You're still trying to go to war with them. So don't try and make out like, oh, if we was to just go back to Africa and build up Africa, you wouldn't be over there. We'd see you over there. If I was to go to Africa right now, in fact, I've only ever went on holiday to places that are in the continent of Africa. And every time I went over there, I saw Edomites. So don't try and make it like you ain't over there. You're over there. With your proud attitude, not wanting to pay the full price for items, right? Trying to say, oh, these people better be careful with how they treat us because they need us for tourism. Well, why do they need you for tourism? Because you've destroyed their infrastructure. And you don't want to pay a fair price for things that they have in their land. You're trying to make China your enemy now because they can make products better than you. You people have never been fair. You've never been righteous. You've always been wicked demons, man. But try and pretend and feign righteousness when you're just really not. You're not righteous. There's nothing righteous about you people. Truly. I will put it, verse 23, I will put them into the hand of them that afflict thee, which say to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over. Well, I'm not laying my body as the street so you Edomites can walk all over me. And there's several other people out there as well that they think the same way, man. We're not going to take the MOTB so that you can be comfortable having so-called black people around you again. I'm not taking one. Lord will, man, I'm not taking one. Lord will, when that question gets offered to me, I'm prepared to have that sweet guillotine blade swing down and land on my neck. Rather than have you Edomites trying to think you can try and use me like some GTA character. Nah, that don't sound right to me. That sounds like hell. That sounds like hell, mate. The nerve of this world to always try and scapegoat us and make it like we're the ones. That don't match prophecy. Because then are these people trying to say that we're the red horse? Mentioned in Revelation, are so-called black people the red horse in Revelation? Because I ain't never heard you so-called white people say that. But are you going to start saying it now? Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Is that talking about so-called black people? No. He's talking about you so-called white people. You're the ones that took peace away from the earth. You're the ones that go into everyone's land, right? Everyone's land, and tell them, do this, do that, steal for their resources, or always sticking your nose into everyone's business, right? And just hateful to everyone. That's you doing that. That's not us doing it. That's you. So-called black people ain't going all around the world trying to force people to do anything that we do. For the longest time, we've really just been seeking equality. And you Edomites never wanted to give that. We were saying, I think it would be fair to give reparations for what you did to our ancestors that we can build ourselves back up again, since you always want to talk about how you're so sorry for it. But then you'll say, oh, we're not guilty for it. You don't get no reparations. You hate even the thought process of it, because that's the main thing that you Edomites have did that you're really proud about. You're proud that you was able to take such an amazing people down and make them be slaves. I was in a museum not long ago, and when people was walking past the part that was talking about Atlantic slavery, the Atlantic slave trade, all of these heathen nations was walking past it proud. When they see me by there, they thought that it was they was thinking that it's funny in some way. I know this. They was all thinking it's some kind of funny thing. But there's not nothing funny about it, because when it happens to them, we're gonna see how funny they find it. And that's what they never thought would ever happen. They never thought they was ever gonna have to pay for the things that they've did to us. But they are going to, right? You are definitely gonna have to pay for the things that you did to the children of Israel. You're not gonna be able to just get away with doing what you did to us. It's not gonna happen. What you did too much, man. You heathen nations did way too much to us, way too much. And you are gonna have to pay for it. You have to, right? I don't see how you could not pay based on this doctrine that we believe. There's not no way that you are not gonna have to pay for what you've done to us. You're gonna have to pay. It's just gonna have to go that way. It has to, right? It's gonna have to go that way. And it was given to him to take peace on the earth, that they should kill one another, and it was given unto him a great sword. Are the so-called black people the main ones that make ways on how to kill people? I was watching again. I watched it again for the second time. Blue-Eyed Samurai, and you had this one character on there, Abijah Fowler, right? Some ginger Irishman or Scottishman or something, right? And he was talking about like how nobody makes more. He said a line like something like, "Nobody makes more ways to kill than my people." And as soon as he said that in the show, I thought about the scriptures, man, and that's true. Esau's been blessed with a sword. They have been given damn near unlimited methods on how to take people out on this earth, man, to unalive people. They love it. They're talking about how we're the most aggressive. Mate, did we make a nuclear weapon? Did so-called black people make a nuclear weapon? Or were the so-called black mathematicians that was involved in helping make these weapons, did they not say, have I not read about them saying, oh, you should stop this? Because once they found out what they was trying to make, oh, now you shouldn't go through with doing this. This is ridiculous. And they were silenced and told, basically, shut your mouth, man. And they tried to not even let them know what the maths that they was asking them questions on was going to be for. So don't try and dare, man. Don't try and dare make out like we're the main most violent people. Because in World War One and World War Two, we was fighting based on things that you Edomites were doing. In the Vietnam War, Israelites, so-called black people was fighting based on what you Edomites wanted to do. So don't try. Don't try it, man. Russia and Ukraine war right now is only so-called white people that are the main parties of that. So how is it us? How are we violent? And how many people have died in that war since it started off in around 2022? How many people have been getting killed unalived in that time? How many? How many? I bet it's more than have happened in some Chicago ops beef, right? Some old block versus 6 O's or whatever the hell it is that they're talking about, man. I bet it's way more. But you're trying to make it like some dreadlock driller is the most vicious thing on the earth. But then when they end up in jail, there's still war going on in the world. There's still war going on. But nice try though. And most of you people that complain about them, you don't even live around them anyway. And the main people that they're harming, even according to your own voice, is each other. So how are you really affected by it? You're not. It's just something that you've allowed to happen to be able to point the finger and be like, see, but they do this though. But you can't do that to the nation of Israel. You can't point at us and see us doing all that stuff because we're not doing it. If you was to point at the elected nation of Israel, or people that are striving to be of the hopeful elected nation of Israel, what you're going to see is you heathen trying to bother us when we're living our lives, trying to overly encroach on our living space, man. Trying to eavesdrop when we're out in our front garden, back garden, whatever. Trying to unnecessarily park close to where we live. That's the kind of things you're going to see with us, trying to get us fired from jobs, trying to bear false witness on us at work, trying to not want to hire us in jobs, trying to make it like the only reason why we've got a job is because it's a DEI or some kind of diversity program, as if you don't need qualifications to get the job. Trying to not give us a job when you know that we'd be better than everyone else there because that they wouldn't fit in the workplace. Yeah, whatever. It's so that you can point your finger and say, see, they don't have this and they don't have that. You Edomites have always been hateful, and when you get called out for it, you go silent. Once the real deal starts getting talked about, you try and point the blame and say, oh, but black people kill black people. Yeah, but what about the white people killing white people right now in Russia and Ukraine? What about that? Is that a reason why now you should look at them like they're so vicious? Or when you call it war and it's on a global scale, is that somehow less violent? Is it somehow less violent to go into someone's country and start unaliving them than it is to go into someone's neighborhood and start unaliving them? Is that less violent? Because it's my opinion that it takes a hell of a lot more effort and a hell of a lot more resources to go into another person's country rather than in going to their neighborhood. It's my understanding that the president of America said to the president of Ukraine, "You're playing around with World War III." But I never seen them say that when they arrest one of these dreadlock drillers. Oh, listen, young Jaquan, you're playing around with World War III. If you keep sliding on the up block, this is gonna cause World War III. If you keep sliding on your ups and making drill records, it's gonna cause World War III because you know the ups, although you're trying to say they ain't rocking, you know the ups just slide for their dead homies. Or is that not what they say? They give them a Burger King and be like, okay, we know you was there, yeah. All we want to know is who else was there. We're not holding you guilty, Jim Kwan. Yeah, we know you didn't let off the shots that them stray shells hit that young Malad. But young Jaquan, we just want to know who the real shooter is. And then he goes silent, put his hand on his face. Okay, but don't tell my homie that I'm snitching, no, yeah? And then he's arrested. And then they got both of them. But they don't ever say that that's gonna cause World War III, do they? It's the things you Edomites are doing, you so-called white people are doing, that's gonna cause World War III. So you're the most violent, man. Let's not play around. You're the most violent. All these guns that these people are using, that you're talking about, who made them? Who made these guns? Who made the gun? Who made the gun? We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about who made all these guns and still making them. We're gonna talk about that. Or are we going to try and make it like, oh, black people are the most, who made a gun and what is the reason for making it? Was the reason for making these guns self-defense, or has Esau used the gun and used the tank, used the aircraft carrier, used the fighter chopper, used the fighter jet to scare the world into doing what he wants them to do? So don't try and make it like that's things that we do. Some grimy gold teeth drill rap drill head dreadlock driller, right? Saying, yo, brace yourself, fool, and all that, doing a little stick up. Mate, Esau does a stick up on a country. Gunboat diplomacy, man. So don't try and make it like we're the most violent. No, you are. And Esau is the main one that does projection, man. Anything that you ever hear them really say about us is really what they are. Offended by nothing, blah, 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 offended by nothing. No, that's what you do. Offended by everything. No, that's what you do. You're actually offended by everything. And the main thing you Edomites are offended by is the truth. The truth shuts all your thing down. Because in places where so-called black people live outside of America and outside of the so-called West, you don't see them doing them same kind of things that you see them doing over here. They do them things because they're in close proximity to the truly most violent people on the earth. That every single nation on this earth, if they was being honest and not being some weak punks, if they was being honest, would admit that they've got a greater claim of anger towards the so-called white people than they've ever should have with so-called black people. Because so-called black people are not the ones that destroyed their whole country. Some so-called black people not giving you a tip when you go to a restaurant isn't a reason why you should hate their guts. Maybe they didn't like the food that much. You understand? Maybe, okay, they ate all their food, but maybe it wasn't really hitting like that. Maybe they didn't like your customer Ross Clark service, why they didn't leave you a tip. You don't have to leave a tip, right? Now, have I left a tip before when I've gone to a restaurant? Yeah, big deal. If I like the food, I would. If I don't like the food, I might ask for them to take the discretionary charge off. I don't care. I'm like, nah, I wasn't really rocking with the customer service, man. I didn't like how you was. I didn't like how. I'd say that if I wanted to say it. I've never said it before, but I would say it though. But that's not a reason to try and make it like so-called black people are so blah blah and this and that. Because if so-called black people owned restaurants, which you other nations try and make it difficult for us to do that, by the way, especially Esau, you so-called white people probably wouldn't come in there and leave a tip yourself. So-called white people ain't just tipping people all the time. That's a lie. They're not, man. So-called white people are not the best customers when it comes to going into shops. Because if that's true, what the hell is a Karen? This whole Karen term that's came out in this world, is that not based on so-called white women specifically always wanting to speak to the manager, giving horrible, treating the servers horrible, telling them you're going to lose your job by the end of the morning, you ain't going to have a job after this. That's what a Karen is. The term Karen or Edomite women is based on Edomite women that have always been known to be going around the whole world, getting on everyone's nerves, sticking their nose in places that it don't need to be, questioning so-called black people when they move into a new apartment building. Oh, do you live here? You ain't the security of this building. Mind your business. Worry about what's happening on your floor. Or where do you live? Who are you to ask me that? Asking people if they're lost when they live in their own area. You Edomites are creeps. The whole Karen term is a proof that you Edomites are not as nice as you say. Because what's a Karen then? But people ain't real down here. They don't want to sing it real. They will lie, man. They want to try and blame us for every single problem that goes on the earth when it's not us doing it. We're not the ones that's doing all the things wrong in the earth. When just not. That's a lie. That's things that they say, but it's not true though, is it? But they try and make out as though, yeah, we're the ones doing this. No, we're not. But whenever Esau starts having the limelight shined on him, he's quick to find an Israelite to blame, to try and blame shift. Every single time, man. They never blame shift. You'll notice it. They never blame shift to no other nation. It's always us that they try and blame shift to. When the headlight starts going on to Esau and seeing his crimes, they never say, oh, but look at what the Chinese do. And it's not because the Chinese ain't committing no crime. It's not because of that. It's not because of that, mate. That's not true. If it was to go to China, you'll see people committing crime. You would see it. You'd see people in a prison there. Why would they be in prison if they ain't committed a crime? Unless you're going to say that Chinese people are throwing people in prison for nothing then. But you ain't going to say that though, are they? It's absolutely ridiculous, man. And all you nations are going to get judged, man. And we've got the patience and the faith of the saints that all you people are going to go into captivity for the lies and hypocrisy that you're pushing out there about our people. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Did we lead you into captivity, or did you lead us? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. If you want to talk stats, who's killed more? Who's unalive most? Have you Edomites took out way more of us than we've took out of you. And you already know the answer. So who's most violent? All the lives that were taken in the Atlantic slave trade have not even come close to being equaled by anything that you can say that so-called black people are doing to you. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So we're waiting for our enemies to get put in captivity like they thought we was going to be in, man. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we desire, man. And I'm going to end the lesson there. Shalom.